probably the ugliest car on the field last season, but also a very, very good car mechanically.
Loud, the smoke, cars going sideways, it's an unnatural, natural thing, and it's Christchurch. This is the series that's existed since 2004 or 2005.
But drifting was just something so different and quite new to me, but so cool at the same time.
It's hopefully outweighed by the look good for the sport by being in people's doors. G'day everyone, my name is Andrei Pirlea. I am 26 years old. I am a BIM coordinator at Ryman Healthcare, which deals with like services consultants to model buildings, so completely unrelated to cars, but I just sit behind a computer for the rest of my time. It is brown and probably the ugliest car on the field last season, but also a very, very good car mechanically. I got the engine and gearbox package off my brother, had the car for 8 years, if not more, and it's been without an engine probably for a solid 5 years. And before last season, I managed to buy an engine package off my brother, put it in the car, and it was just so mechanically sound, aesthetically atrocious.
So I'm Joel Counter, driver of the Nanking Tyres S14 Nissan Silvia. I'm 30 years old and based in Christchurch.
My name is Liam Pink, I'm 18 years old and I drive a S14 Silvia.
My name's Brendon Fisher, car's a S14.
First got into motorsport when I would have been 4 or 5 years old, watching Formula 1 with my dad on a Sunday afternoon. And then really from there, I probably around about 4 or 5 years old, got a PlayStation, Gran Turismo, Formula One, and from there just hooked into it every night. Get home from school, play racing games, talk touring cars, and F1 and Gran Turismo, and that's where the obsession for going round and round, as my partner likes to tell me, is what racing is, just cars going round and round, and I'm addicted to it.
Motorsport was kind of in the family for a while. My dad was doing enduro riding in Romania, so like motorbikes up mountains and stuff, so he was quite into it. Got into motorbikes, got into biking. Drifting was kind of a bit later, so I guess it's just the evolution of bikes, like push bikes, motorbikes, straight into drifting. My brother did it. It looked pretty fun. I obviously didn't know about the financial side of what the fun actually cost, but it was sweet. He got me into it. I got on Sylvia, while I was still in high school, and just from there on it went to lots of simulators, lots of driving in high school, moved to Christchurch, even more driving, started going to the track, went pretty much anywhere you could take a car where someone would pitch in some fuel and potentially even some tyres. I was interested. So sometimes it was every weekend, sometimes it was every few weekends. We would just be at the track, up the hill, on the simulator, pretty much anywhere you can drive in a semi-safe fashion. We were probably doing some silly stuff.
So at about the age of 9, I got into kart racing. I've always been into cars ever since I was a kid, like from a very young age. And then one of my dad's mates had a kid that raced karts, so he introduced me into that, and then I was hooked instantly. And I raced karts for about 6 or 7 years, I think, until I made the transition into drifting.
Yeah, so I guess how I got into motorsport, first initially started by, I was still at high school, knew of one of my brother's friends done marshalling at the Timaru Levels racetrack. We ended up getting involved in doing that, ended up being a marshal out there. He also done grass karting, so I got into that. So I'd done grass karting for a few years. Then my brother built a rally car, just a 1300 Starlet. Then had a drive of it for a few times, and then I ended up getting my own car and done rallying for probably 8-9 years maybe. Had a year off, or about a year, sold back because I wanted to go faster. It was either spend bulk money on something still on the gravel side of things, I would have kept it still 2-wheel drive. And then went to the Waimate 50 and met Drew and Jody Donovan. Had a yarn to them because I knew their Australian cars were coming home or something along those lines, and knew Arnie was going to be for sale, so I asked him about that. Then he said about the Australian car and ended up buying it sight unseen. Top bloke to deal with. Got that underway, got that to New Zealand. He'd done a couple of bits and bobs for it, and when the D1 round was in Timaru a few years ago, travelled back with them to Wellington and drove the car onto the ferry, and drove back to Picton onto a trailer and sailed home, and thought it was pretty cool back then. And now you kind of look back on what it used to look like and how it used to be, and it's definitely not the car it once was. Yeah,
with DriftSouth, actually, first time I did actually a round of DriftSouth, so I did a drift school because you kind of have to, probably once again close to 7-6 years ago. That was pretty fun. Then I went to do one development round probably 5-ish years ago, and then I happened to win that one in the Sylvia, but that was when it was kind of like factory debt, just manual, nice, had a viscous diff in it, so pretty much just like all you needed back then. And then I had a long time of my car being just broken and without an engine for like 5 years, and then I got to this season because the car happened to go together. I told myself I'd do a season, and then I just won, and that was it.
So I first got into drifting, I would have still been in high school, so 2006, 2007 is when it really appeared on my radar. And another thing, it's this short form of motorsport that's just, it grabs your attention. It's loud, it's smoke, cars going sideways, it's an unnatural, natural thing, and it's caught my attention and I got hooked on it.
guess that means
right, so round one was actually really good. I finally just put the car back together. I went from full street car to full race car practically without driving the car at all. So it was like lovely street, interior, quiet, just SR20 deck to full 500 horsepower, big box, like full arms, lock kit, everything. So that round was a real big testing, I guess, area for me. The battles were extremely good. I finally managed to get into the actual groove of it. The battle with Liam, however, once I actually started to get real comfortable, I started actually getting in on people, initiating properly, kind of cutting that 3 to 4 car length down to 1 or 2 car lengths. Got up into him in the dipper on A-track backwards, and as I was on full lock, I must have got just kind of close enough to his rear wheel that as he accelerated to go out, it ripped the steering wheel out of my hand because it hit my wheel, and then my shoulder decided to also, well, my arm decided to fall out of my shoulder, and then it just flew off the track, off the outside of the first corner.
So round one, we battled steering dramas all morning of practice. We eventually found there was in the ancillary belt and in the power steering pulley, it had bound up with rubber. So we literally had tyre rubber compressed into the pulley, and the belt was just slipping on top of it. We had effectively, you'd be able to give the car a bit of a toss in and then go to switch and no steering, it just locked up, belt slipping, trying to feed it revs to get the RPM up to spin the power steering pump, nothing.
So starting off at round one was the first time that I really got to drive with some power in my car. We'd just done the motor up in it, and it was making 480 horse coming from about 220, so it was a real different experience there. But went through a few battles. Battle with Richard, that went real well, just real clean chase, and I think he made 1 or 2 mistakes on the lead, so I managed to get through there. And then I had Brendon up next, who just again another clean chase, keeping consistent and whatnot. Made it through to Max was next, and that was a pretty interesting battle. Cool chase on him too, and then his chase on me gave me a bit of a shunt, and it was real cool. But I think he got that one. And then for third and fourth, it was with Andrei, where another wee shunt again, but into the first dipper, which is real cool corner too. But yeah, no, that was a cool battle too, and I think he pulled his arm out of his socket.
Went to Andrei.
Okay, so round 2 was also very good again. Got postponed because it was flooded the first time, and then once they redid it on the second time, once again it was raining, and we thought I was going to postpone it. But to be fair, because I was driving since high school, everyone's done it. In order to learn and you're driving on the straight, the easiest way to do it is in the wet. You're not using tyres with like 15s or something. So practically, I grew up driving in the wet. So for me, I was like, this is it. This is the round I can actually clutch up. I knew competition cars were harder to drive in the rain, but I also knew how to deal to like rainy, patchy conditions. At least I thought I did anyway. And yeah, that was a real fun round. So like the battles with Liam were super good. Even gave him a wee little tap at the end. The battles with Max were also extremely good. So that was like full good lock. Both of our cars were pretty similar, so it was just like door to door most of the way through the track, and especially with Rick as well. So in the final it was a one more time of just back to back good battles, and that's a really good round as well because it was raining. We also raised the limiter on my car practically for no reason because it ended up raining, but like it was top, like just the sounds that you get from a car just like hitting limiter all the time in the rain. It's just the pinnacle. I didn't have windows either, so that was a complete windows and a full face helmet, so like an open face helmet. So practically the whole day I was like drenched, but it was extremely fun. Like yeah, rainy rounds are amazing.
2, after sorting the motor out and getting my car up to spec there, I thought it'd be cool to get the car looking the part, because for me drifting's kind of a style thing too. You want to have the car looking cool. So yeah, got a new livery put on that and went out, and it was a pretty cool round, but weather wasn't quite on my side. It was raining quite hard, and my car wasn't too well suited for it at the time, so I didn't do amazingly that round. I think Andrei took me out, but it was a pretty cool round still.
Round 2, much the same, qualified 4th or 5th I think, and had a top 16 battle against Maximiro, and when rerun, just cooked it, put 2 wheels off on my lead run on the rerun, and lost that, so we were back in the corner again, top 16, which is not where I want to be. My entire goal is to drive the car for as long as possible in the battles, because I don't want to put my car in the trailer really. I want to keep driving. My entire goal for every round is, if I make the top 4, I've driven the most I can drive the car. Anything inside of that, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, that's the bonus.
Yeah, so I think round 3 I didn't do too bad in the qualifying there either, to be fair. It was a section of track I've never done before. We've done a piece of it in the past, with part of it being B-track, and just managed to get through to the final and finished second place after going OMT with Dan Caldwell. And yeah, good day, big burnout, good job.
So round 3, B-track Carousel, we qualified really well. I think we were second or third, and had a battle with Scott Johnson in the top 16, which we managed to walk away with the win. Then through to top 8, we battled against Johnny Martin, and I had a goal to smoke screen him. I think it worked because he put a couple of wheels off track. Sorry, Johnny. Then moved through to the top 4. I had a battle with Dan Caldwell, and went one more time, and again super tight, and Dan just bit me. And then 3rd and 4th, up against Andrei Pirlea, and again, same, super tight battle. Win rerun, and I cooked my entry a little bit and just gave him a bit too much room, I think, and we walked away with 4th. So that was, again, a positive. The goal is to finish top 4 every round that we achieved it that day.
Okay, so round 3, B-track Carousel. Actually, for that one, I felt really off for the whole practice qualifying session. I just, for some reason, could not handle just entering properly. The whole second half of the track's like fine, you just kind of get to the track, but just entering for me was real strange. But by the time battle started, got a wee bit better. I knew Rick very much knows how to drive very well, so I knew from the get-go I had to be on his door, and I also had to make sure that I didn't get like gapped at any point. This is when I'm still obviously like becoming accustomed with my car in the dry. So I was like, okay, I have to go in there properly. A bit of a dive, I'll be honest, on the last corner on the Carousel, but my theory is, the crowd surely would have loved it, so I got in there a bit close. I did hit him. I hit him in the wheel a little bit hard, but I mean, it didn't bend my tyre. I don't know if it actually bent something in his car. It might have, but he carried on to the next battle after that anyway, so I imagine that if he felt like something was wrong with his car, he would have called his comp time out. But always good battles with Rick, even throughout the whole rest of the season. And we proceeded to the next one, and that was good fun. I flew off the track because I just like went into the first corner, steering bound, just flew off. That was just my mistake. Sweet. So battle 3rd and 4th with Joel. I knew I could trust his lead runs because he does very good lead runs pretty much all the time. He's super consistent, so I was like, all good, I can just go right in hot from the get-go. Committed to it, did a nice chase, did a nice lead, I hope, for him. Went to one more time and I was like, sweet, that felt amazing, we'll just do it a second time. And the second time I made sure that I kind of put the exclamation mark on my chase by giving him a very light rub on the exit of the Carousel, which I think must have solidified it because the judges gave me 3rd for that, so that was pretty sweet. But yeah, once again, very good battles with Joel as well, so top driving from him.
So going into round 3, weather was a wee bit more on our side, so it was pretty cool to go back to a dry track. It was on B-track, it was pretty cool track, pretty fast. Yeah, the car ran pretty good, but came up against Phil and that was a pretty cool battle. Managed to get the win across him, and then Andrei managed to knock me out again.
also very good. So I haven't actually gone to do any Timaru rounds at all until this point. I've obviously watched heaps, but it was the first time at Timaru, first time with this track layout, so I actually wasn't disadvantaged at all because no one did this before, so perfect year to start it at Timaru. The track was very good. The layout was sweet. A lot of commitment onto the entries. Quite hard to kind of stick it to the outside line. So the whole day was actually pretty good. Like the car felt sweet. Power steering kind of went a bit weird, so it was like from all the quick switching, I think it just overheated, so it was like a bit strange, but pushed through that. That was all good. Got to the battle against Liam. I knew that he was, a miracle. It had like hats off to Liam for even making it to the final because he actually lost third, I think, at the start of the day. So the fact that he actually made it even to the final with only fourth gear is extremely impressive. On such a short track as well. He must have been doing some heavy left foot kicking on that day. But in the final, I knew like Liam is a top guy. Pretty much throughout the whole rounds, we were kind of like nearly pitting next to each other, just having good yarns. Like I think I may have knocked him out like honestly once or twice by this point, so I felt pretty bad. But it was actually, he knocked me out in the first round. Anyway, so like I was like sweet. I was like, this is my mate. On my initial lead, I decided that I just wouldn't absolutely just blitz him off the line. We kind of had a yarn, we're like, we'll just do a nice boys final. It's a miracle we've made it this far. Let's just actually do like a sweet final for the crowd. So on the line, I kind of just like looked over my shoulder and just waited until he like accelerated up to the course, but kind of just waited to see until he was like actually behind me. So I was like, sweet, he's got fourth, he's actually like happy, let's initiate. The funny thing about that is that because I obviously entered so slow because I was like kind of waiting for him a bit, the commentator was like, oh, slow entry from Andrei, so that's like a stitch up, but that's all good. But that was honestly, a sweet round again. He did get a bit stitched up by just not having fourth, so I think his chase was like a little bit compromised, but even I did a wee bit of a dive in the final. I honestly thought I was going to go one more time, if not even to him, but I think he washed out a wee bit, so happened to go to me that round. But that was sweet. That was like a very good weekend. Especially because when you and your mate make it to the final, you could honestly just be there all day just running one more times, but he just happened to have a missing third. But good fun.
So going into round 4 in Timaru, which again probably my favourite track, and it was actually a new layout this time, and a lot of the drivers were finding it hard to adapt to this new layout. It was quite a different, hard to get around layout. But my car was real well suited to this track, and funny enough, in practice I actually lost third gear, so I had to make do with first, second and fourth. But I figured out the track pretty well and just really felt like it was clicking, and so that went real well. And first battle was with Morgan, who was a local there, and that was probably one of my favourite battles ever. Yeah, it just went real well, real cool chase. I actually ended up getting best chase on that battle there. And then I went up against Zach Palmer, another good driver, and just kept it consistent, real good chase, just kept right on his door, short track, his car's just suited for it, I can keep right on the door. And came away from that one with the win too, and then moved to Sam Edinburgh. And it was quite difficult through all these battles without third gear off the line though, so I had to really try to get a fast entry in, but managed to get up on the door on him too, and took that battle away too. And then in my final battle with Andrei, I did make a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have changed tyres, but I went on to new tyres thinking, it'll give me more grip, and I ended up with less grip, so that didn't end up working in my favour. But no, it was a real cool round, ended up second with best chase, so yeah.
Yeah, so round 4 down in Timaru, another section that none of us had done before. They used the southern end of the track, and wasn't feeling the entry on it too great, to be fair. Just trying to run the judges' line. Thought, carry on a bit more speed to get to where you think you need to be after practice, having a talk to judges. They reckon it's probably going a bit quick, so probably still stayed the same, dialed in a bit more angle, bit more throttle, get on an apex after the first corner. And yeah, mean as track with all the switching with the boys is pretty sick. Had some pretty awesome battles with my teammate Shane in practice, to then coming up against Joel in the top 8. We went one more time and managed to get the win after another couple of sick battles. And then I just had a bit of a balls up myself in the 3rd and 4th battle, and yeah.
Levels was good. That's an interesting track for us. It was a brand new layout to all of us for competition, which was that top end sweeper in reverse with the west chicane. Probably not my favourite track, if I'm being really honest. Just that track in reverse, I just couldn't get my eye on it properly. I never felt quite comfortable, but I think we still qualified 4th or 5th or something like that. Went up against Benny Yang in the top 16 and led out. We came around the sweeper through the first switch, and I brought it back to go through the chicane and limped it for the first time in over 10 years of driving competition. So on the chase run, got a little red mist, and the whole goal was to make sure that Benny could see the front of my car the entire run. And I think I achieved that, because I can vividly remember seeing him look down at the front of my car, and that was just as his car was sliding off track. He put all 4 wheels off track, and I think for 50% of that slide he was kind of looking down at the front of the car. And then we went rerun because we 0-0'd, and I walked away with the win. Top 8, we went up against Brendon Fisher, which went rerun as well. Story of the season. And yeah, just lost in the rerun there, which put us on the trailer a bit early, so we packed up and went to the pub.
B reverse. Also, I've never done B reverse. They kind of cut the entry short. That was the most stressful part about it. So I was on the sim for like a good few hours before this round, just practicing the entry, making sure that like I understood kind of how the first double apex worked. And I stressed out for absolutely nothing, because on the day they just made the entry so short, you pretty much had no choice but to like slap second, slap third, and immediately initiate, and then the speed was just perfect. So that was sweet. Battle against Simon. Entered pretty well, right behind him. I was like, so I kind of knew, I was like, his car's pretty good, he knows how to drive, I have to go, and once again, full commitment. I'm never really worried about hitting my car. I have to be slightly worried about hitting really nice, like flash, like cars, but also drifting is a contact sport, so I was like, I'm going to go in there hard. And after the double apex, I just put on too much angle, and then after I like already lost that much speed, and his car being also quite quick, he just blitzed me, and by the time I switched, it was just a smoke everywhere. I just barely could see anything, so I was like, sweet, all good, got outclassed. Not my mistake. Shouldn't have angled up so much on the double apex. To be fair, I don't think his car's any faster. I think the regulations and like the 265s and 235s business doesn't actually do that much. All I had was 235 high flies, and if it worked for me, I mean, it should just work for everyone. I think that's fine. But yeah, he just like beat me on that one, so that's fair, 100%. And then the battle against Joel, once again, classic scenario of I knew he was going to put down a solid lead run, heaps of angle, heaps of smoke, big V8 power. So I was like, sweet, I'll get in his door again. Classic situation. I think both times when I was chasing Joel, I got best chase in round 3 and round 5, which I guess is a testament to his like top lead runs. I don't know if my car happened to be faster in the lead when I did it, or if he was just like less committed in the chase, or if I don't know. Regardless, my chases were sweet, so I was happy.
And the final round, which was B-track reverse, again a good qualifying. I think we qualified second to Andrei by about 2 points in qualifying. We had a great qualifying session. It was good fun. I enjoy B-track in both forward and reverse section. So we qualified well on B reverse. Went up against Max Amiro driving Benny's MX-5 and managed to take the win there. Next up we went up against Rick Kingham, that was my first proper battle with him. I'd qualified multiple times against him throughout the season and finally got to battle him, which was a good battle. Must have been quite tight because it took forever, sat on the line waiting for a decision to come through. But we managed to take the win there as well. And then through to the top 4, for the first time again, battled Corey Farron, who I haven't battled since about 2016 or something like that, so that was quite cool. Corey pipped me. I knew the entire time he was sat on my door, and I just didn't repay that on my chase run, so he deservedly beat me. And then up against Andrei Pirlea again, and much the same, heard him sat on my door, and I just buggered it, couldn't repeat the same on my chase run, so walked away with 4th, and I think that placed us 5th overall for the 2022-23 season.
So for round 5, B-track reverse, pretty cool track, pretty interesting. Yeah, it went pretty well. I had a battle up with Benny first, which went pretty well, and I managed to get the win on that. Just, solid chase on the lead, went pretty well. And then I came up against Simon Hunter, who was a new entrant for that round, and he just got away from me. I couldn't keep up with that car, so he ended up getting the win on that. But I managed to come away from the whole season in 3rd place, so I was pretty stoked with that. Just a few good placings here and there, and all added up. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Okay, so my car went from rolling body to fully built in probably 5 days of the boys getting hands-on, probably within about like a week from the competition starting. So it was like practically a shell with an SR20D in it, to full subframe swaps, lock kit, RB, gearbox, cage being done, seats installed, everything. So it was like practically a fresh build for the season. My biggest problems that time were steering bind, So I ran, what would it be? Liam's dad made some lower arms, and he did me a real good deal on them. It was like $200 for like some billet lower arms, so I was like, absolutely, I'll run them, no doubt. Have a Costal front knuckles, which was sweet, and my only problems were really, steering bind under braking on big lock, which I guess is just classic unless you practically have wise fab. An injector seal falling off and kind of trying to flood my motor a wee bit, but that happened to happen when I got a wheel alignment, so it wasn't even kind of related to the drifting. And yeah, decapped injectors, the pinnacle of drifting culture. And yeah, overheating power steering fluid. So honestly, like a huge testament to the boys putting together an absolute pinnacle drifting machine that practically had no issues. It once again looks like a complete piece and drove just like a Seto does. So it was like the transition from just sim racing to real car was just easy. It was just like everything you do on the sim, pit doors, it just becomes like that, but in real life, except for you spending like $1,000 on tyres every round, which was punishing. But the car, flawless. I couldn't complain about any aspect of it. Even had wipers in the like raining round, which is like a miracle, honestly.
Yeah, so coming into the next season, I've got a couple things planned. I'm going to put in a new diff, as McCaw had a few issues with blowing diffs and blowing axles. So I've got a new R200 that I've just rebuilt and going to put that in along with some custom made 350Z axle stubs so I can run stronger axles as well. And then hopefully I won't have any driveline issues.
So I bought my S14 in 2010. With some silent, I couldn't get that past my old man without telling him that it was just an upgrade from my Toyota Levin. And it was just a bigger version of a Levin, but I had all this intention of taking that car drifting, which he probably is just finding that out about now. So yeah, 2010, had that car, had all the intention, spoke to my old man about wanting to take that car drifting and how we built it, and I wanted it as a street legal drift car, and he was dead set against that. He's told me from the get-go, we do it once, we do it right, we build the car for the track. It goes off the road. That's what we did with zero practice days drifting at all. We just went from a road car that was non-turbo automatic that I eventually got a manual conversion on, and then rolled into, we're stripping it out, we're putting a roll cage in it, we're putting a SR20 det in it, and yeah, literally 0 to 100. But we got into DriftSouth. We're local, we live in Christchurch. This is the series that's existed since 2004 or 2005. So we came down to the track and we'd seen DriftSouth and wanted to get involved in it, and that was a big part of it for us, was just getting involved and getting into motorsport. The best part about DriftSouth is it's super competitive, it's really progressive. The cars each season get a little bit better and a little bit better. The level of competitiveness and how equal everyone is a big part of it too. We can enter any round and know that the driving is going to be pretty much up to a really high standard from the get-go, and that's super encouraging as a driver, because there's no second guessing of what we're doing. Everyone's good, let's go and have fun and drive at 110%.
Up and coming stuff that we've got going on, new diff going in the car, and just having break off DriftSouth this season, get some new body panels on after some couple of 3 seasons of the same one, getting a bit haggard. Probably go for a new livery on the car, still keep the same power plant and gearbox, probably look for some new sponsors or some additionals, keep the past and present ones, and go from there. Speedway wise, having a season off that as well, just having some time out, to be fair, and just live life a wee bit. I've been doing it for at least since 2010, back in my rally days, and yeah, just taking some time out, live life a little way.
Yeah, no, so it's been a pretty cool season. Chris has run a real good events, real good season, and it's been real fun, and I've had a lot of help through small businesses, and my parents, my mum and dad helped me tremendously, and Ryugi Power helped me a lot with tyres and stuff, and JB Fabrication have helped me out with some fabrication and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been real good, and I've had people there to help me through it, so yeah.
So I once again had a main crew, main car. All I had to do was just drive. I had some really good incentives along the lines of, you're not coming home with us tonight if you don't win, we're leaving you in Timaru if you don't get top 3. Pretty much the classic really good like incentives from the boys to make sure that I pull through and actually win it for them. And I absolutely had to, because they put me together a sweet car, so I had to get up and speak on the mic and thank people for it. But yeah, the season went sweet for me. Got like, I think my lowest finish was fourth in the first round, and then after that it was just a mixture of third, second, first, like in a different order. But yeah, went well. Pretty much into the last round I think it was nearly impossible for me to lose unless I happened to go out before I even qualified, and the person that was second in the championship qualified first and won the event, so it had to be like a full, all the stars to align for me to even get out. So by the time I made it to top 16, I was like, sweet, from now on I can just have fun, enjoy it, and it was relieving, but sweet. I mean, I tried to go through the whole like championship just having fun, because that was the whole point of it, but I also had to make sure I didn't disappoint the boys and the family for like putting in all the effort and like building me a sweet car. Yeah, so winning the championship was pretty sweet. I got my name written on the cup, so I guess that's there forever. I think Chris may not potentially like the fact that my car made it through to the final, but that's completely fair. I mean, it looked pretty bad for the sport, but also I think the balance of look bad for the sport aesthetically was hopefully outweighed by the look good for the sport by being in people's doors. I know a lot of people had good fun, and I went and talked to the drivers after like every single like battle pretty much, and they were all like all for it. And I don't think I think the drifting culture just in general isn't very like salty. They'll just, even if they go out, they'll just be like, sweet, all good, was a sweet battle, good luck for the rest of it. So that was good. The plans for this season, well, I kind of told myself, so before I put this car together, I was like, I need to get this car together, I need to do one proper season of DriftSouth. I've watched it for years, like pit crewed for Alex and Oscar and all these other mates over the years, and just like always just watched it and never really did it. I was just practically spotter for like 5 years straight, and I was like, oh, it's time for me to eventually do it. Like I knew how to drive to a point anyway, so I was like, time to match myself up against the big boys. And yep, so I did that, got my car together, pulled through, managed to by some miracle not have mechanicals and win. So I mean, I couldn't really ask for any more. Like the car was sweet, the team was sweet, the rounds aligned for me, and it was a win. So I mean, and I got a few best chases, which is probably honestly more important than winning, because like those are the pinnacle trophies that you want. You want to put the best show on for people, and I hope that I did. And I'm pretty sure some would agree. Some might say it's not really kind of putting a good show on when your car looks like it's from the Derby, but it is what it is. Like, it drove well. So I've done the season, won it, fantastic. Once again, huge thanks to the team. And then my next plan after that was, it's time to buy a house. And so I bought a house, and then I also bought a dog as of like last week. And the reason I'm probably not going to do DriftSouth, I guess, this season is money. I mean, I had the help from like Tyrell, especially, and also like Liam's dad for building me some arms, all the boys over the like season, so I had, I guess, financial help a little bit, but still $1,000 plus every round was a bit hard to like do over like such a short period of, let's say, 4 or 5 months when the drifting happens, like all the rounds. So I was like, sweet, I'll just park it up for a wee bit, sort my life out, get a house, get a dog, settle in. I have to like build a fence next week, so that's like a round's worth of money gone. But so that was the plan. Drifting. Next goal in life was house and dog. Now that I've got those things, it'll probably just be drifting again. Whether it's DriftSouth, I'm not too sure. The cars out here are looking pretty scary this year. The drivers are also looking pretty scary. They look like they're absolutely onto it. So yeah, I mean, I'll maybe come back one day to defend the title, but maybe I'll just be like one of those guys that just comes in here one year, just just annoys some people and then just leaves and just never shows up again. But I do want to do fun events, like hill climbs and stuff are sweet. They're like challenging to the, I guess, the technical driving side of it, because there's the, doing a lead run is just doing a lead run. Doing that isn't necessarily like as challenging as the chasing side of it. That's the full technical side. That's the fun side. I feel like it'd be nice to now focus back onto the like driving technically, because a racetrack's just, it's just a racetrack. You do it once, you kind of know what you are expected to do, whereas up a hill climb that's 2-3 minutes long, for example the Denniston one, which I would love to get back to. That was like my home mountain to learn to drive on, so it'd be absolutely great to get back into that one. But for now, just chilling, helping pit crew again. There's a few people I have to like, it'd be nice to just return the favour. They obviously did me well last season, so I have to like make sure I keep helping them out. But that's it. Maybe I'll make it back one day.
So hi, I'm Josh. I'm the editor and videographer for G.D Autosport. This documentary was a part of one of my projects for ARA as I come to a finish of my Bachelor in Motion Design, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been quite a process, and yeah, looking forward to next year where I'm potentially going to be going over to Europe and following Drift Masters.